Once upon a time, in a bright and colorful kid's bedroom, there was a teddy bear named Ted, a robot called Robbie, and a beautiful doll named Ella. They were the best of friends, and they loved to play together. One day, while playing in the room, Teddy Bear found an old wooden box with a handle in the corner. In front of them was a huge TV screen showing a friendly cartoon face. "Hello," the cartoon said. "Welcome to the magical world of Video Game Land. I am your guide. And this is a place where all your favorite toys come to life." It had a strange symbol on top that sparkled just a little bit. Teddy, being the curious one, lifted the box with his paws and opened it. As they celebrated, hundreds of tiny glowing stars rained down around them. They had earned their first reward. "You've defeated me. I was supposed to be the pinball wizard, but now you've taken my crown. Curse you. That's just Gary the Grouch. He hates fun. Now let's move on to the next game." He stomped off angrily. They were all having fun in this wonderful new world. That's awful, but Ella the doll had an idea. She asked if she could try, and when it was her turn, she played a beautiful song. Cobwebs hung from the corners and bats swooped around them. "Don't worry, Teddy," he said. "We'll be together. And besides, we have to help the ghosts find their lost souls." Suddenly, Teddy Bear froze. I don't want to go in there," he stammered. "It's too scary." But before they could celebrate, Gary the Grouch appeared again. "Stop that awful racket," he yelled. "I hate happy music." He tried to smash the merry-go-round with a huge mallet, but Ella the doll had a plan. But, of course, Gary the Grouch appeared soon after. "Leave this place right now," he yelled. "All you're doing is making me look bad." But the friends didn't listen. They kept cleaning up the house until every ghost had found their lost item and the house was filled with light. Then Gary vanished in a huff. Teddy did, and Robbie used his powerful arms to activate the castle's defense system. Ella took a deep breath and, with a flick of her wrist, sent her own magic spell flying toward the castle's control panel. Glitch was gone, and the friends had collected all the stars. The grumpy gingerbread man was now smiling and offering them cookies, and the ghosts from the haunted house were throwing confetti. Everyone wanted to celebrate the heroes. Your guide appeared once more. "You did it," he said. "You brought light back to Video Game Land. It was a simple spell, just a tiny bit of fairy dust and a wish for everything to be okay." But as the dust hit the control panel, every single candy on the castle walls started to glow. The gingerbread man even lit up with a smile. The friends dashed away just as a beam of light shot out of the box. Inside the box were 3 glowing stars, just like the ones they had collected in Video Game Land. The 3 friends went to sleep that night knowing that tomorrow would bring new adventures, new challenges, and new opportunities to shine. Because in the world of make-believe, anything was possible, and they were just getting started. And as the light from the stars filled the room, the friends knew that their adventure, although over, would never be forgotten. They had faced their fears, solved problems together, and most importantly, learned that even the smallest of toys could be heroes. And when they peeked over, they saw they were back in the old bedroom. The TV was off, and the only sound was the ticking of the clock. They had faced their fears, worked together, and most importantly, saved the day. And as they danced and laughed with their new friends, they realized that friendship and courage could light up even the darkest of places. Suddenly, water cannons started spraying from the candy walls, knocking Glitch back. Room after room, they helped the ghosts find their lost belongings. "Thank you," she said. "I can finally rest in peace." But then Teddy Bear had an idea. "Let's open the box and see what's inside," he suggested. In the kitchen, they helped a ghost find her favorite frying pan. In the living room, they helped a ghost find his reading glasses. And finally, in the bedroom, they helped a little ghost find her teddy bear. The 3 friends looked around frantically. Then Teddy Bear noticed the old wooden box in the corner. It was opening. "This is where Glitch lives." You must defeat him and collect all the stars to save our world. She asked Gary if he would like to try his hand at conducting the orchestra. Of course, he didn't know how, but he was too proud to say no. And as soon as he took the baton, the music started playing a lively circus tune. Before them stood a huge castle made entirely of candy. There were lollipops and chocolate bars on the walls, and a huge gingerbread man stood guard at the door. And before he knew it, Gary was tapping his feet and even conducting with the baton. Ella smiled. Sometimes all it takes is a little music to lift your spirits. He charged into the castle, bumping into Glitch and sending him flying. For a moment, the magnet holding the stars was deactivated, and Teddy quickly grabbed one and hid behind a pillar before Glitch could notice. They peeked through a window and saw Glitch, the main villain, surrounded by all the stars he had stolen. He was using a huge magnet to keep them away from the castle. The other horses joined in, and soon they were all playing a lovely tune together. Suddenly, a beam of light shot up into the air and whisked the three friends away. As they approached, they saw a merry-go-round with horses that seemed to be playing a sad little tune. One of the horses caught Teddy's eye. He had a beautiful flowing mane and tail and was painted in shades of pink and purple. Teddy couldn't help but want to ride him. When the light faded, they found themselves in a magical video game world filled with rainbows, clouds, and sparkling stars. They had never been on an adventure before, but they knew they had to help. The three friends found themselves shrunk down to the size of ants. They were racing through a giant pinball machine, dodging bumpers and flippers as they tried to reach the end. Ella the doll used her long flowing hair as a whip to help them navigate the twists and turns. Robbie the robot used his powerful arms to deflect the flippers trying to block their path. And Teddy Bear, well, he just tried not to get squished. So they nodded bravely and the cartoon face smiled. Thank you. Then let the games begin. The three friends couldn't believe their eyes. All around them were toys from every imaginable kind: trains, cars, stuffed animals, and robots. Then the cartoon face on the TV turned serious. But this world is in danger, he said. The evil Glitch has stolen all the stars, and our world is slowly losing its color. Only a team of brave toys can save us. Will you help? Teddy Bear, Robbie the robot, and Ella the doll looked at each other. The screen went blank for a moment, then suddenly exploded into action. After a few minutes of intense pinball action, the trio reached the end of the first level and a big flashing sign read, "Great job." But suddenly, a mean-looking purple creature with jagged teeth and glowing red eyes appeared. New, he cried. Your guide appeared on the screen again? Don't worry about him, he said. In the distance, they could hear the sweet sound of music and the tinkling of bells. But when he did, the horse started playing a really off-key note. Yuck, said Robbie the robot. As the music reached its crescendo, more glowing stars rained down from the sky and the friends were rewarded once again. Next, the friends came across a dark and spooky haunted house. But Robbie the robot put a hand on his shoulder. And so they entered the haunted house. As they placed the bear in her arms, the ghost smiled and floated out of the house with the others. And as she disappeared, the trio was showered with more glowing stars. The friends continued on until they reached the final level. Welcome to the final level, said your guide. As they approached the castle, the friends could hear strange mechanical sounds coming from inside. We need to get those stars back, said Ella. But how? Suddenly, Teddy Bear had an idea. I may not be very strong or fast, he said, but I am very fluffy. Quick, Teddy, yelled Robbie. Pass the star to me. Now, Ella, said Robbie, it's your turn. For a moment, the whole room was filled with soft, beautiful light, and when it faded, as the friends looked around, they realized they weren't the only ones who had changed. And as the party began, the friends knew this was one adventure they would never forget. But suddenly, a familiar sound echoed through the room, the sound of a closing lid. Quick, he whispered, we have to hide. They looked at each other, unsure of what to do next. As they lifted the lid, they gasped in surprise. And so, with their hearts full of joy and their minds full of adventure,